welcome everyone to the butterfly effect of mentorship. As I said already, we're very, very excited to have you with us here, and we have a wonderful panel of lovely, lovely mentors with us to share their experience with you today. And we're going to be hearing from them shortly, but before we get everything started, we're going to have a little bit of an overview of what we'll be covering, some short introductions, and then we'll get into our panel today. So today we will be joined by 𝗂𝗂𝗃𝗃, who is the Chief Growth Officer at 𝗃𝗲𝗿 Network. We have 𝗂𝗂𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃, who is the Group CFO. And we also then have 𝗂𝗵𝟐 who is the COO of 𝗀𝗄𝗏. So today we have a little bit of a welcome warm-up as always, but then we'll get into a little bit about why you should join the mentoring program here at the Female Factor. We'll have a panel discussion with our lovely, lovely guests, small Q&A session before we jump into some networking breakout rooms, and you get an opportunity to have a little bit more one-to-one time with our speakers here today. So just to get a little bit of a feel for where everyone in the virtual room is joining us from, please feel free to share in the chat where you are currently based. So I can go ahead and break the ice. For example, I'm currently in Germany, but I actually come from Canada. And let's see where people are coming from. Helsinki, yes, Germany, Vienna, Italy, Baden-Baden, Bulgaria, Vienna, Latvia, physically in Vienna, mentally in Mallorca. I think we can all get the vibe there. Vienna, America and Spain, lots from Vienna, of course, Brussels, Salzburg, Argentina, wow, okay, so Italy. All right, so we have quite an international group with us here already today. Thank you very much for sharing. Nice to get to know where everyone's coming from. And for those of you who do not already know who I am Taylor. I'm the community coordinator here at the Female Factor, and I'm also the point of contact for anyone who chooses to apply and join the mentoring program. And yeah, I will be moderating today's session as we get started. So for those who maybe have not been through a mentoring program before or are not sure what it is, mentoring can help you with a lot of various things in your career path. In terms of what our mentors typically support our mentees with, it ranges from anywhere from defining your career goals to expanding your network, getting some key industry insights, getting your mentors to be able to share their experience with you, also getting that objective and neutral feedback from someone who's already been there and done it. And of course, they can also help you in planning your career path as well. Now, this is a non-exhaustive list of things that your mentor is going to be able to support you with, but these are the most common things that we see our mentees choosing to join our mentoring program for. And some quick data as well. So for those who join the mentoring program, 1 in 2 actually share that they get promoted during or right after the program. And 2 of 3 women actually go on to become mentors themselves. Maybe not necessarily in our own program, but in other programs that are available as well. So some interesting facts here. And for anyone who has already experienced the mentoring program, you know that we typically measure 3 pillars. So that's competence, connections, and confidence. And we always measure these at the very end of the program as well. And we've seen that over the course of that 6 months, 34% actually report an increase in their competence levels, 45% increase in their connections, and a 55% increase in their confidence, as well as having an increase in their salaries. And ultimately, we see that people are about 5 times higher to have a chance of being promoted in their current career path as well. So we have lots of mentors in our program for you to choose from. If you haven't already been on the website, you can go ahead and browse. Our applications are already open, but here you can see some of the wonderful mentors that we have in the program, all the way from IBM and Google to IWG, and of course 𝗃𝗏𝗿 Network with 𝗂𝗂𝗃𝗃𝗃 here. So what you will get from being part of this program is 6 months of one-on-one guided mentorship, and it would start towards the end of October and end in April 2026. In this time, you'll have about 4 to 6 hours of mentoring sessions with your selected mentor. And of course, you also have regular check-ins and support from our team and from myself to make sure that everything is running smoothly, and that if you have any problems or if you need extra support, we're always going to be here to help you and make sure that you're well supported through everything. On top of all this, what you get is absolutely no blind matching. So you have the opportunity to apply for up to 3 mentors of your top choice. But again, all of your mentors will be seeing your applications. It's not an AI generated behind the scenes. It's actually us reaching out to our mentors one-to-one and making sure that that's actually going to be a good fit for both parties. You also have an opportunity to connect at events. So we have regular networking events where you can meet with other mentees. And we also have some mentor-led sessions as well, where you get to have a little bit more deeper insight in a group event with one of our mentors. And you also will get tips and tools and guiding materials to help you make the most of your sessions as well. So our mentoring program, as I mentioned earlier, will start at the end of October, more specifically October 28th, and will run through till April 27th, 2026. Our mentoring applications are currently open for another week, so until next Tuesday, September 23rd. So you have a little bit of time still to get your applications in if you haven't done so already. And I'll give you a quick run through of the actual application process because it is a little bit longer one. But again, we like to make sure that it's a good fit for both you and our mentors. So you apply directly through the website. Before getting into the application, it's best that you actually scout out which 3 mentors you would like the opportunity to actually be connected with. Once you figured out those 3, then you're just going to go into your application. You'll have your updated CV and a motivational letter that's prepared for each of your mentors. You also have an option to have an introduction video. So for some people, it's a little bit easier to express themselves on video with words rather than typing on a sheet of paper, for example. And then once you have everything prepared and ready, you just hit the submit button. And so long as it's in before the 23rd of September and you're part of our inner circle, then you'll be able to join in on the program. All right, now that all of the overview of what you're going to get as a mentee is covered, let's get into meeting our lovely, lovely speakers. So as I mentioned already, we're going to be joined by 𝗺𝗂𝗃, Anna-Laura Bonard, and Sabine Saljek. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen, just so we're going to be able to see our speakers' lovely faces and everyone can see. Olena, maybe you might be able to help with pinning some of our speakers here, just so everyone can see them bright and clear. There we go. All right. Hello, ladies. How are we doing today?
Amazing. Happy to be here with you.
Yeah, very excited to have each of you here with us today. Just so it's easy for everyone here who's getting to know you maybe for the first time, maybe we'll go to like a very quick, brief introduction for yourselves in a few words, just so we can all get a better feel for who you are and what it is that you're currently working on. We can start with Arta, for example. You're the first person we see here.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. So I'm Arta. Very excited to be here with you today. For the past 6 years, I've mentored a lot of startups, mainly women. And for the last 13 years, I've worked to empower women from, overcoming deep challenges to entrepreneurs who are now leading successful businesses. I also teach entrepreneurship and innovation and serve as country program officer at Swiss Entrepreneurship Program, where I help strengthening ecosystem and connect founders with global opportunities. you know, this whole experience sort of gave me one reason to keep going for giving knowledge to women, which is when we see women that are empowered, business grows, community thrive, and changes are a lot more possible. So, and entrepreneurship is not a lonely journey, so it needs a team and it needs support. I look forward to share a lot more information today. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Arta. Laura, I see that you have your mic on, so I'll hand it over to you.
Yeah. Oh, hello, everyone. So my name, 𝗀𝗃 Bono. So I think my name, my accent, I'm French. So on my side, I'm working in finance since 25 years. I'm 47 years old. I was working. I started my career in a big audit firm, you know, so very male-driven, I would say. And after I spent 20 years in Airbus, I had the chance, while I was still continuing in finance, to have an international career. I spent 2 years in India, 4 years in Germany, in Munich, in Hamburg, 3 years in Spain, in Madrid. So I had really the chance to meet a lot of people, and definitively with this experience, diversity ring a bell more than gender through my career. And as you can imagine, as well through those industry, mentoring was definitively key. You know, you need to understand the code, you need to build your network, and this was definitively what mentoring bring me a lot of things, but I think we have all the hours to come through it. Recently, I decided to change after those 20 years in Airbus, and I started in a new company in the luxury cruises. The name is Ponant. It's a French company. In Marseille, so moving from Munich to Marseille, completely new atmosphere for me. So the job as such, to be a CFO, it's not my first experience, but it's a completely new environment, and I would say we will come back to it as well afterwards. But mentoring and it's key when you have those changes. Voilà. Thank you, Taylor.
No, thank you, Laura. And last but certainly not least, Sabina. The mic is yours.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. So maybe I have similarities with Anna Lauren more than with Arta, because I was not meant to be in operations, but currently I am. I'm a very creative person, and my career started as a very creative person, leading marketing departments and then product departments of first large corporate systems. Then I jumped into the startup world, from leading some of interesting startups. So maybe the most prominent is fintech, that is last year acquired by large big company. Today I'm more focused on scaling global healthcare platforms, with specific now focus on building new startups in domain of healthcare and AI. Beyond of my CEO role, I am active member in a lot of women or female associations on global level in domain of tech, but also on local level. And I'm advisor in a couple of startups, from female factor advocates to AI local function here in Southeast Europe. My mission is kind of to turn bold ideas into impact, and I love working with young next generations of leaders who will hopefully do the same as I do.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Sabina. And it's quite fitting, because you've already shared that you're part of other mentoring programs, and our first question actually kicks off with you. So I'd love to dive into that a little bit more. As you've mentioned, you've supported countless women in tech through mentorship. So what would be one piece of advice that you often find yourself repeating to help mentees take ownership of their careers?
Well, I always kind of steal advice that I got from my first mentor. When you are super young, you want whole world and you want it right away. She learned me that career isn't a straight line. It's a combination of experiments, bold moves, and reflections. And that kind of was my path. So my advice is that no one is going to save you, unfortunately. You have to do it yourself. Mentor is there to guide you and to maybe help you to see your blind spots, maybe to open different opportunity, but execution is solely on you. So advice is always to don't wait for permission, don't wait for perfect plan. It's kind of non-existing. You just need to start. Take small actions daily that compound in some kind of momentum. And I would say that ownership means that you are not outsourcing your career. Oh, lovely girl. I see a lovely girl in the audience. That's next generation, I guess. So ownership means that you are not outsourcing your career, neither to your current company, neither to your manager or your mentor. You are building it. And that's kind of advice that I took it on early and I share with my mentees and across different networks.
No, I absolutely love that piece of advice, because at the end of the day, you can get as much advice from many wonderful mentors, but if you're not taking the time to execute and put the work in, of course, you're not going to see the results on the other end of that as well. So that's very wise advice. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
All right, Anna Laura. So having quite a few years of experience as a CFO, and also recently making a shift from aviation to tourism, who do you personally turn to for support when you're navigating tough leadership decisions and like major industry transitions like this?
Yeah, I think one, and I want to build on what Sabina just said, and to say it with my own word. You know, when I look at my the area I'm working in, finance. You know, if I have a question, if I have a technical question, I will open a book or I will go to see someone who will help me technically. What is happening with leadership is exactly the same. The only thing is that it's in brackets a soft skill, so you are not thinking I need to develop as well this skill. I would say it like that. And it's exactly what happened as well when you continue to grow. I was in those male industry, and for the first time as a CFO, this is really the first time that I'm not the only woman in the executive leadership team. For the first time, we are free and free, even if this industry is as well a very male-oriented, let's say. But during all my career, I was the only woman. So it's extremely difficult. There is some codes. There is some political codes, finally, that you need to learn, on which you need to grow. And it's even more important because I definitively, with my experience, I'm sure of that. We are very different on the way we react, on the way we work as women versus men. So it's very key to have this ability to be, to be with the people who will support you, to continue to grow on those leadership teams. So for me, what has been very important as a CFO, but as well changing of industry is, you can call it as well mentoring, but it's as well coaching, you know, to understand, as said Sabina, the blind spots that maybe you don't see when you are in the rush, but that people will really help you to understand. So you have the one in the industry. For me, starting in this new industry, it was key for me to have people who can really help me to understand the business, because it's very important, and to understand the political game, I would say. But at the same time, you know, you need as well people that on my side, who was previously my mentor or was my coach, that are still with me today, and I have regular exchanges with them because they are helping me as well to continue my path. Because at the end, what you will as well learn, and probably some of you already learn it in their experience, is that even if we are completely in complete different area of work, finally, the leadership situation we face are often the same. So I'm not saying exactly the same, but somehow, if you put aside the technical issue you can face, you have always more or less the same situation. And this is what mentorship is really helping, and how I use it today. You know, I'm sharing experience of what I'm facing today, arriving in a new company where I need to understand how it's work. And I have people and even previous mentor who help me to say, yes, I face this situation as well. And this is how I have reacted and what I can advise you.
Absolutely. And Arta, I see that you have a little reaction here. So I don't know if you want to also share some of your own insights as well.
Yes.
Yeah, and maybe one point, Taylor, to finish on that, because it's important and I forgot to say it. Just coming back to this transition, I think what is key is that when you have this kind on my side, it's after 20 years. So I have a lot of people who are telling me, are you stupid to do that? It's so crazy to do this kind of change. But I was looking for something. I think there is, of course, the people around you, as I said, but as well a lot of humility. You need to take the time to understand what is happening. Okay, you have the good basis, you have the good background, but you need to take some time. You need to build your network and your relational. I just wanted to add that. I'm done.
Great addition. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Arta, feel free to jump in.
Yeah, thank you. I did my PhD on women entrepreneurs, and literally like people that do experiments and watching things, my experiment was behavior of successful women entrepreneurs from different areas. And I've seen quite a bit of changes when it comes to rural areas and urban areas, country to country. So I was very lucky to lead a community at that time where I would meet regularly these women. But and I can talk for hours about this, but one thing that was very common from Switzerland to least developed countries is how to price yourself. This was something that was terrifying most of the women. And there are a lot of statistics that show that women can negotiate much better for other women, but not for themselves. And I had the conversation with so many of them, and we provided with mentorship. And there are two kinds of mentorship that I believe exist out there. One is, hey, you should price yourself higher. I think you deserve more. And it's kind of a statement that feels nice for the moment, but it won't change her reality. It's like for the day, it will go in her head, but how to do it is, I think, very important. And there are not too many mentors out there that touch the inner part of these women, where they go sometimes even step by step, because you know, like there's a lot to do with culture, with self-confidence, with all of these things that sort of are piled up for the moment that they are not able to price themselves. Briefly, I'll tell an example. The first time that I wanted to have an increase of salary, my brother told me that you should ask twice higher. And I said, are you crazy? This is already enough. He actually told me that he will pay me for 1 year a full salary just to follow his steps. And indeed, what did not happen in that job, which was 13 years ago, it happened to me. Like I got that salary. So this is not just for business, it's for every kind of decision. We don't ask, we don't ask what we deserve. Usually we think that other people have to value our work, but not from ourselves to say, you know what, I think I deserve an increase of my salary or a different price depending on the role of these women. So I think there should be a need for this, because this is linked to the storytelling, which is also missing a lot for women, and it's linked with self-confidence, which brings even women in a better position, even when it comes to funding, which still the percentage is quite low. Sorry for extending a little too much.
No, I think it's great to hear your insights, and I think from my own experience can also say from the people who I've also worked with, I see the same issues also starting to arise from the example that you provided here around not really understanding your own value and typically undervaluing the impact that you actually bring in your area of work. So I think it's a very important topic. And I think, yeah, absolutely being able to have a mentor to help you with those deeper transitions is certainly important. And speaking of, we're talking about some of the challenges that we see many mentees facing. You've mentored many founders who are in the startup world. And now, of course, you're building your own company. So what are, for you, the top 2 challenges that you have seen female founders face most often? And how do you typically help them to navigate those types of challenges through mentorship specifically?
Women are risk averse by default, and business don't like the risk averse people. So in general, and this is very particular for the mentee that I had with Female Factor, she was a consultant. She wanted to become an entrepreneur, solo entrepreneur, and then we actually worked together to move from solopreneur to actually having at least one more person to help, because there is a tendency for women to keep it all in, in the back, in their shoulders, and have like 15 positions on their own. And I get it that when you're at the very beginning, you try to do everything by yourself. But the trust is quite challenging for women, that they are very reserved. Like, okay, I would like to have a partner, but I don't know who this partner is. Who can I share this business with? And this is of course relevant for, we're mostly talking about now early stage companies, because of course once they're at the level of mature business, I don't see too many differences on the business side between male and female, because business is business at the end of the day for both sides. The balancing role is another story, but the business itself, it reaches that level. The other thing that I've seen again a lot coming up is this balancing roles. It's very challenging, particularly for women with kids to navigate. But also balancing means being able to manage time accurately for your work and prioritizing, because there are so many cases that women are asked questions or advices or whatever free of charge, and that's time, so sometimes it's very hard for women to focus and to respect their time and to say, okay, this is my job, and if you want to be a client, this is the steps that you have to use. And I had many women that were trying to have these cold calls, cold emails, communication that wasted so much time with people that when they reflected back, they actually did a lot of free work for them without charging them. And this was mainly like, yeah, it wasn't too much work. Yeah, for me it's easy. So they usually underestimate their value. If for an AI expert, just like one button is a thing that will change a whole system, it will change a whole system. So you cannot underestimate that button, because to be able to press that button, you did a lot of work before that. So these are the things that many women see it like, yeah, it's like 5 minutes work for this. So it's not too much of a hassle for me, and I can help this and that. And I'm not against helping. It's just that you have to sort of respect your own time and your own self, because in that way you give, they sometimes end up not having the proper client because they think that this is too small for us. We need something more serious, something more important. Whereas in reality, that something more important is exactly that woman that they were talking to. And also there are many introverts out there that it's very challenging for them to speak with clients, especially at the early stage. It's very crucial to be able to show and to present a very confident type of storytelling. What are you doing? So that people will listen to you and will try to help you. And it's a bit of a reflection mainly for Female Factor. But again, I think there is a difference between women in business in Saudi Arabia, where I'm mentoring through 𝗵𝗵𝗁, which is one of the biggest corporation of airports. And then in Kosovo, there are different issues. Sometimes women just need another woman to trust them and to listen to them and to just say that you can do it and I know you will do it. So it's really the different situation and different stages of life, you know, like I've met women with a small baby that sometimes it just felt like, oh my God, you are a mom of two, you managed to do all of these things, so you're inspiring me. And for me, it was the opposite. And I was telling her that you are not aware how much work you're doing. So it's always this inspirational part that it's quite common. But then, of course, when it comes to business, the way I operate is the mentee will come up with a list of things that they want to change in the business, be it financially, business development, sales, pitching, because I do a lot of pitch destruction to sort of help them to navigate further with their business idea if it's related to raising funds for her own business. So, but I'm happy to hear more questions because I want to keep a little shorter so that I leave more time for questions.
No, the insights are great, and I think you kind of drew out a really interesting example, especially with AI. And maybe it takes 5 minutes, one button, but that one button can change a whole system that's worth a lot more than just 5 minutes or just a small portion of investment, let's say. And then speaking more about tech and innovation, Sabina, we've seen quite a large increase, let's say, in mentoring specifically for women in tech and innovation. We know this is where you're typically working, right? So for you, what are like the common obstacles that you have noticed that women in tech are experiencing currently?
Okay, thank you for that question, but it perfectly correlates what Arta already mentioned a couple of times. There are things that you see over and over again, and they are mainly connected on general level. That's like confidence gap, where a lot of women are underestimating their readiness compared to men, for example, to take on different positions or to price themselves in the same range as men. Like I worked in a large corporation where is male dominant cooperation, and I know the momentum when I ask the higher price or to be at the same level as my colleagues when organizations said no. But also that's a good answer. You know then how to navigate your career. Maybe that's not right fit for you. So you always get some kind of answer that will redirect you. But important thing is that we need to be more confident and in ourselves and things that we want and ask for them. The second thing that I quite often see is visibility gap. So there is a lot of introverts or a woman who do amazing jobs, but they do it very silently. And you need to learn how to tell your story and build your story and make it more visible in order to also generate confidence, but also to drive your or build your career forward. And the third one is always networking gap, where women are also very hesitant to use or leverage their networks because they think or feel that they are transactional. So it's always like heavy for them to leverage the network and grow those networks strategically and use in their own advantage. But the good news is that all these things can be trained. Imagine I'm an introvert person, and today I'm on C-level of one company.
Not possible.
Yeah, that's
You're
possible. Like I hate it. Like I hate
No
public
way.
speaking. I hate putting myself up out there and similar. But that's what my mentors, my career taught me. Like I had to be visible in order for everybody to see my work. So everything is trainable. You can like practice the confidence, push yourself out of the comfort zone, don't be visible, share what you do, and try to build network strategically. At least try with mentor. And you have like here on this session, two amazing ladies that would be a perfect mentor for you. So grab that opportunity. I bet you will see a change in a couple of months working with them.
I think we have 3 wonderful ladies that are here who could support. So not just 2, but yeah, I really appreciate the insights, and I couldn't agree more. It's not only something I've personally experienced in my own entrepreneurial journey, but it's also quite common, something that I hear from many women in our community as well. So very, very strong points. Thank you very much, Sabina. And speaking of male-dominated industries, Anna-Laura, you have been at the intersection of 2 male-dominated industries, both aviation and finance. So what were the specific challenges that you have experienced on your own journey?
No, definitively. And as I was explaining, I started to work 25 years ago. So you can imagine that it was really an old-fashioned world. A lot of things have changed, but still, I think we are not yet there. But it was definitively my main challenges. As I said, I was often the only woman, you know, in my as a leader for teams. And it's true that what I have experimented is often what is supporting me to grow is because I was often taking the challenge that the other, and especially the men, didn't want it to come. So it was always a double investment compared to my peers. I'm not saying it's good. You need to well balance, and I think Arta has really well explained that. But it was really the main challenges that I was really facing, because each time it was okay. Yeah, make the demonstration that you can do it. And on top of that, what I have as well experimented, and I remember the day I have the, how to call it, the déclic. You know, I was always focused on delivering. I will deliver, make the best job to prove that I can be at the same level. But one day I have realized that finally I need as well to change a bit that. And I think it has been well explained by Arta and by Sabina, that is to say how you market yourself, how you show yourself visible, how you prepare your storyline. I think preparation is very key, and this took me a lot of time. One of the challenges, I will come back to it, but one of the challenges I faced as well at that period, not a lot of women were in executive role, and often, and for me, it's really an advice, and now it's a key rule for me, it's not to be like that. Often the women were worse than the men. They were more expecting from you than even your boss as a man were expecting. Probably because it was so difficult for them to reach this position in that period that they were extremely demanding. And I think it's one of my, as well, rules right now is, okay, I need to adapt myself. You know, it's a male environment, so I need to understand the code. And Sabina as well explained it, networking and so on. But one of my rules is to keep my authenticity and to keep my value. This is really now the thing that I will not accept anymore. So I'm not saying that I'm not adapting myself. Of course, it's very key, but I think it's something very important. And I come back to what I was explaining when I had this déclic, what I have understood. And I was a bit like Sabina, you know, I was in a meeting and I was extremely red. I was not able to express myself. I was extremely introvert. I was always behind the scene, you know. I said, okay, maybe if I say that, it's stupid. So what they will think about it? And I was looking at my male colleagues, so easy to express themselves. And finally, what I have done is a bit what was explained is, okay, so let's prepare myself. It took me a lot of time, you know, to prepare myself. And I remember that I took hours and hours, but I did really that. And this brings me the necessary confidence. And I remember when I decided somehow to speak up in my first meeting, you know, I was so prepared that, okay, I can answer any question. And this preparation gives me confidence. The fact that I succeeded gives me additional confidence, and so on and so on. And it had this famous butterfly effect, I would say, by working on myself, preparing myself. And that's why I was saying in introduction, for me, it's like a skills. You need to accept that to become a leader is like a skills. After it become naturally, but you need as well to learn about it. And maybe my last word on that, because it was not so popular, mentoring, especially when in this world of engineer, it was not really something you were looking for. And honestly, my first mentor were even men. It was not. It was men who was advising me. But same, it was difficult at the beginning for me to find the right person. And finally, whatever, and this for me is important, whatever is woman or whatever is men, what is key with your mentor is to have this confidence relationship and to have the same value. Because finally, I realized that there was a lot of men with whom I was sharing the same value. And then it has helped me to continue to trust in my value and to develop them and so on. And step by step, I had as well some women mentor with, I would say, same sharing of value. And this was really, then it's even more powerful because you see those women who are practicing it, and then you say, okay, I can make it. But this is how I would a bit summarize the challenges I was facing.
Yeah. If I may add just a thing, Taylor, if we have time.
Yeah.
Because Anne touched a very important point that I could not resist. It's I kind of think that to actually make a huge impact in someone's life, you really have to know well this person, because otherwise it's quite hard to help. For instance, in all of these startup mentorship I had, I always prefer to have the first meeting, just get to know each other and try to understand like where does she want to go. And I think that I still can help even in that way. But to be able to help more, you actually need to know why is this person in this way, or why is she an introvert, or why is she reacting this way? Because then you actually can know her character, and then you are able to even understand more. Because sometimes if it feels like it's a borderline, or maybe you get confused whether this is the person or this, or you feel that there is another personality, because it's very difficult to know with a couple of meetings. And sometimes these meetings are focused only on like, okay, I have 2-3 problems in the business, help me fix it. In reality, there is this Power Coach book that actually this is how it even started with the coaching, that these top successful CEOs in the Silicon Valley, they needed to walk with someone. And then while walking, they just had a simple conversation, which led them to big changes even in the business. This is the ideal situation. However, I'm not saying that this online type of mentorship is not worth it, but that's why I said I think it's very important to know the differences, because I think our first mentors are family members, which believes in us, pushes us forward, and bully us, and all of these kind of things that make us more strong and make us the people who we are. So yeah, thanks again for the opportunity.
Can I get this recording to send it to my mom? Because my mom was the one who pushed super hard. But I will just jump in what Arta said, and also Anna. Like, I love the contracts and mentioning the male mentors. Like, it's very important. You can share the same values with male mentors, and they can shape you and probably give you a different perspective in positioning, and also with your work ethics. But also it's super important, and as Arta said, to have sometimes somebody who is on the same energy level as you are and will listen to you and understand you. For example, I have team members that are coming back from maternity, and I see them lost, and it's hard for somebody who is male to understand that, how they feel. I don't have kids and I wasn't through that transition, but on the energy level and on emotional level, I can understand and I can like push that confidence that they are the same person, and I know that they will execute in upcoming period as same as they did before that. So resolving those kinds of insecurities. So thank you, girls, for mentioning this. This was great.
No, absolutely. I love that everyone's picking up off of the same topics here. It's really great to get everyone's input on these topics, and just to make sure that we also then stay on time. And I know that there's certainly going to be some mentees or potential mentees that are here today who are going to benefit from this final question. So for you, Arta, so you're a mother, a lecturer, a co-founder, a mentor, a country program officer, entrepreneurship support or sporting organizations. You have a lot of different things that you're working and balancing on. So how do you actually balance all of those roles, and how did they actually shape your leadership style till now?
There is no such thing as 50-50. It's like, it's a big lie. So sometimes you're 10, sometimes you're 20, sometimes you're 100. So I spend my whole summer with my kids. I was the main person that took care of everything. And then there's time that I need to focus on my work. It's extremely important to have the same mindset with your partner, your husband, because at least in-house you don't need to explain why you're doing or why you're going there. Because I was pretty lucky, because I think that it's not so common for generally successful women to also have a healthy family, meaning like the partner and everything. Because usually I meet a lot of successful women that are divorced, because it's not easy to support women in these positions. I know that I have time where I have to be in lots of cocktails, evenings, meetings, and all that, and also I did PhD, so I literally had all my presentations while breastfeeding and pregnant. So it wasn't an easy ride. I had to wake up quite early in the morning, and you're not super happy as a person when you're overloaded with all that sort of work. And also for women, I think time-wise, it's very challenging, because there's this time where you want to have kids, and also all the job opportunities come at the same time. And you don't want to sound like, okay, it's only kids or it's only work, but trying to find this balance is borderline with burnout. So it's again, I don't think that it's easy. It's manageable, but the biggest support that I think women need to hear during this time of expansion or growth is, you can do it. And I had so many time where I would say like, okay, I think I have too much, like I have to quit this job and do that thing, and have less workload in my plate. And my husband would be like, oh my God, this is a joke for you. Like, you go there and you talk and it's so normal. Like, you don't need to even prepare, because it comes quite naturally. And even though that might not be true, sometimes it really helps, because these are the very tiring moments that people in front of the camera or here in the screen, they don't see that. Usually the people in your house see all this other cracking part of yourself, and it either heals or it breaks you down. Yeah, I mean, I've met so many single moms that can manage to do it all. It's, I think, twice as hard as in my case or any other cases that have some support. I also see so many women that simply financially can afford to, pay for nannies, for cleaning ladies, or companies or whatever, so that you have less duties at work and you focus more. Because particularly when it comes to having a leading role. Like, for instance, I was a chairwoman of the public university, and the decisions were very sensitive. So I had cases that it was very difficult to sleep, and I would think like maybe they did something wrong. I would have to consult many lawyers. Maybe I did a mistake. It's very risky because you can go to court. It's not a joke when you sign papers. So when you have this kind of job and you're breastfeeding and you have another son that constantly nags you and asks you things, it is absolutely one of the biggest challenges that a human being can go through. But once it's done, meaning like, you know, the kids are on their foot and they go to school and everything, you kind of say, okay, I did it, and I'm happy that I did it, because time is not waiting. And I'm now currently in Finland, and they are having so many issues to help women go back to work, because as much as it's good to have this maternity leave for a longer period, sometimes I feel it's quite challenging to go back, because things are moving so fast that it's not so easy to catch the time, or to say like, okay, now I'm focusing only on the kid. And that's the beauty of most of the work, be that in business, leadership roles, or whatever, that is seasonal. So it's not like 12 months, because no one can do it 12 months, 24/7. It's more like you have peak seasons where you're very workloaded, and then you have peak seasons with kids that gives you love, pleasure, and lots of nerve breaking, but you know, in a different context. But I guess it sort of complements each other. But I'm always there's an old lady that is a family relative, and I said that I think I'm doing too much, and I think it was all wrong that I'm working. I have to dedicate myself for kids, because the mother's guilt is terrible. It's just only those people that experience can explain that. But then she said, you know, I never worked. I dedicated my whole life only for kids, and guess what? I'm alone, and they are on their own. So you better just be successful, because they are going to be proud of you. So, and sometimes in these moments, these are the words that means a lot, because there's so much prejudice for women that are mothers and work, because usually they're always the bad moms that don't care about their kids, and no one knows how much time and dedication this woman is spending to with their kid. And there are so many women that are stay-at-home women that don't necessarily take care of their kids as much as this other group of women take care. But it's always this mindset that you're exposing too much in all of these speeches, so that means you're not paying lots of attention to your kids. So yeah. But big support to everyone. It's doable. It's a bit of tough ride.
Like everything in life, it takes time, it takes effort, lots of hard work, but I'm sure it's quite rewarding at the end of the day as well. So you can have both beautiful and loving family, and also then having a successful business and something to continue to build as well. Absolutely.
It is, and it's never always. So it's usually a short period of time. So that's why, and usually I always refer to this period of pregnancy and the first year of the baby, because I think that's the time where hormonal changes happen a lot, and you are physically related to another human being that really needs you. And I was a breastfeeding mom for 2 kids, and I did that 6 months exclusively. So usually that is considered already a full-time job. And on top of that, to do other things, it's not very easy. But again, I think it keeps the mind quite sort of. I personally felt that I'm alive when I met people, because you feel that you're only with this kid and nothing else is happening in your life. But the work really balances you, that you feel like, oh, okay, you also have a brain that works, so that's good.
Yeah, absolutely. And I see that from some of the comments here, like people are also resonating with this. So we appreciate the insights that you can bring on, quote, balancing these seasons of life But that being said, I would love to open up the floor for some questions from the audience here with us today. So if you have any questions that you'd like to ask on the open floor, please feel free to put them in the chat. And we have about 5-10 minutes to do some open questions. Then we'll get into breakout rooms where you can actually have a little bit more one-to-one conversation, hearing from our lovely mentors here. Any questions, please feel free to put them in, or also you can unmute yourself and ask away. That's also totally fine.
Come on, don't be shy. We love to talk. You can see.
If you don't start talking, we will continue.
Yeah, we can continue until tomorrow. Do you have a time?
Yeah, and
I see there's a couple already here. I can go ahead and ask while people maybe gather some opportunity. So if you could go back and have a mentor at the very start of your career, what would you ask them?
I'm just reading another question. Sorry, can you repeat, Taylor? Because I was reading another one.
Yeah, if you could go back and have a mentor at the very start of your career, what is one question that you would ask them?
How to survive. How to juggle between different things and similar. How to survive transitions in careers. How to survive first negative feedbacks when you think that you are amazing and doing amazing job, 120%, and they tell you you're not good enough. What to do in those situations, because at start you are not aware of these things. As I said, career is not a straight line. It's a combination of experiments, bold moves, and reflections. So I guess my question would be down that row, and how to like empower maybe more earlier with the confidence and be prepared for, like we say that women rule the world, but we still work in pretty much male dominant environments, no matter the industry and similar, and somehow they have in different environments upper hand compared to the female managers, executives, leaders, and similar. So my question would go in that direction.
Taylor, I see two questions that are a bit relevant, and I could take at least one of them. For those that have made a major career pivot, what was the most helpful support to make that transition? I started to teach lately, which is a complete transition because I was in private sector doing PhD, but never taught in the past. One of the things that kind of kept me having all these opportunities was being curious as a person. And also I started to, because I was doing PhD, I started to meet professors and so many other relevant people of this field, so that I would get to know a little bit the market, like how it operates, what are the salaries, how do people get hired. And this, I think, helped me a lot to even negotiate my salary and my terms, which are quite rare accepted in universities, because these are still a more, how to say, it's still have these sort of criteria that they don't make big changes like the companies, where you can navigate easily and make changes depending on your own criteria. But I think it goes a line as a business that you always have to have this discovery phase before you start. So you have to sort of have something in mind that it keeps you awake during the night and makes you think and wonder, what is this like? Do I have a chance to do that? And then you start to just see what's the reaction, how do they see you in this position, before you jump into to the proper position that you like it.
Maybe Taylor, there is another one I can take. At least I can share my experience. I saw the question for those who have changed industry or were relocated in new country, and it happened to me. It happened to me recently to change the industry, but it happened to me several times when I was moving in different country. So, it's true that yeah, I think it's people. You know, when I took this last position, people told me, "Oh, it's easy for you. Huh? It's easy for you. You come back to France, then you are used to change. So press the button and all fine." And no, it's always complicated. And even to come back to France after, for me, 7-8 years without being in France, change. It's always a change, and you cannot. Even if you are extremely motivated, and on my side, I had the chance as well that my husband was always following me, and it's still there and still the same. So I'm a lucky one to have been able to keep him in this while I was able to grow for my career. So you know, each time we decided to change, it was always a family decision. This was definitively key for my husband and for my daughters. But even if it was a decision, it was not so simple. And I think for me, and that's why I'm quite sensitive to what we call diversity, because of course, when you arrive in a new country, but you need to adapt yourself. But finally, honestly, this is what we do, women, every day. I think Sabina was as well mentioning that she was in a male-dominated industry. You are always the only one, so you need to adapt yourself. You arrive with different culture, different behaviors. So first thing, before imposing how you are, you need really to take the time to understand how is this new culture, how is this new environment. And I was earlier speaking about humility, about really taking this time to understand what people are doing is key. And I think it's really the success, is to open yourself to this new environment. And after, you will have a second time when you will start to bring as well your values, your ways of thinking and working in the team or in the country on another on the second step. So
yeah, absolutely. I think that's great advice, especially as someone who has also made the transition to multiple different countries, having to get used to different culture, different language, and really understanding how the people in those countries operate and what's normal for them versus us, of course. Like, you know, you don't want to impose yourself fully without having a full understanding. So absolutely, I agree with you there, Anna Laura. I know we have a couple more questions that are in the chat. However, we do have the opportunity now to jump into breakout rooms. So I would recommend, if you're able to stay and to connect, please make sure that you can save these questions and ask directly in the room that will be most relevant for you to be part of. I will quickly share my screen just one more time so you have a bit of an overview as to what is specifically going to be covered in each of these breakout rooms. So just give me one moment. So, like I said, we'll have some breakout rooms. So we'll have 4 rooms. You'll have an opportunity to choose which room you'd like to be part of. So for anyone who is interested in learning a little bit more about the mentoring program, a little bit about how to be a proactive mentee or the best practices for your growth, you can certainly join my room. We'll be talking a lot about how to prepare for and have productive sessions, setting clear goals, being able to follow through with your mentor, these types of topics. If you're more interested in climbing the career ladder, getting into a higher position, in group 2, you can join Anna Laura. You'll be talking a little bit more about strategies for promotions and leadership roles, skills that you would need to move up in an organization, overcoming challenges like imposter syndrome, for example, and of course, how mentorship is going to help accelerate your career growth. In the case you want to expand your network and make some more meaningful connections, you can join Arta in group 3. She'll be talking about building a strategic network, having meaningful connections through mentorship, how networking can lead to new opportunities, and also overcoming networking challenges and working on stepping outside of your comfort zone. And in group 4, you will be able to join Sabina talking about career growth and development and finding direction and navigating your next steps. So more about identifying career goals and taking action on those goals, how mentorship can help you to define your career moves, practical steps to grow professionally, and finding more clarity in those career transitions as well. So here you can see a little overview. Olena is going to support in opening up these rooms. That way you can go and join. And if you have any technical issues or questions, please just stay in the main room, and Olena is going to be able to support you as well here. And we'll pause the recording for now. So, welcome back, everyone. I hope that your breakout rooms were inspiring, were able to ask questions and connect with our mentors, and for mentors to connect and hear from our lovely mentees or potential mentees. I will leave a quick link in the chat here for anyone who is interested to apply for the program. So we have this article that will help you to choose a mentor who is going to be a strong fit for you based on what your needs are, of course. And then we also have a step-by-step guide to help you apply for the program itself. It's quite detailed, so please take your time with it. But if you want to have a really strong chance in being matched with your mentor, then please feel free to check it out. And as always, if you have any questions, you have comments, concerns, anything like this, you can always reach out to me via email, and I'll put it quickly here in the chat as well. There. So if you have any questions, you can always reach out via email. You can also connect with our mentors on LinkedIn if that's something that you would like to do as well. Follow the lovely work that they are doing. Sabina, Arta, Ana Laura, thank you very much for joining today. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you here, to hear your stories. Very, very much appreciated.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Stay connected.
Stay connected. Thank you. Have a nice
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye. Thank you.